Have you ever woken up feeling trapped in your own life? You're busy, you're stressed, and yet when you look back, you realize that despite all your effort, you aren't actually moving toward what truly matters to you. This is exactly where Stephen Covey begins his journey in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. This isn't a book of quick fixes or shallow tips. Instead, it offers a profound roadmap for transforming your character, your mindset, and ultimately your life. In this audio experience, we'll explore Covey's principles through stories, practical applications, and reflections designed to help you internalize these habits, not just hear about them. Covey starts with a simple but powerful idea. True effectiveness isn't about personality or surface-level techniques. It's about principles and character. Imagine 2 people trying to cross a river. One has a flimsy raft and is paddling frantically. The other builds a sturdy canoe, studies the currents, and then rows with purpose. The first person is merely busy. The second is truly effective. Covey teaches that real success is about producing meaningful results in a balanced way by aligning our lives with timeless principles. He introduces us to the concept of a paradigm shift. A paradigm is the lens through which you see the world. Change the lens, and you change your entire reality. Consider Sarah, a mid-level manager who felt completely overwhelmed. Tasks piled up, deadlines loomed, and she blamed her boss, her coworkers, the economy, everything and everyone. She was reactive, constantly at the mercy of external pressures. But the moment she realized she had the power to choose her response, everything shifted. She started focusing on what she could actually influence. She began to prioritize her time, and her effectiveness soared. This is the core of Covey's teaching, the shift from reacting to your life to proactively shaping it. Covey organizes this journey into 2 key realms. The first is the private victory, which includes the first 3 habits. These are about self-mastery, being proactive, defining your vision, and managing your priorities. They build your character from the inside out. Then comes the public victory, with the next 3 habits. These focus on relationships, creating mutual benefit, communicating with empathy, and collaborating creatively. The 7th and final habit, sharpen the saw, is about continuous renewal, ensuring you have the energy and balance to sustain all the others. But why focus on habits? Because a habit is the intersection of knowledge, skill, and desire. You might know what to do, and you might even have the skill to do it, but without the desire, it won't happen. Covey's framework masterfully integrates all 3. Let's make this real with a story. Meet Tom, an aspiring entrepreneur. He knew all about marketing strategies, that's the knowledge, and he had the skills to run campaigns, but he lacked focus and a clear purpose. His energy was scattered and he rarely finished what he started. When he discovered Covey's habits, he began to define his personal vision, prioritize the activities that truly mattered, and build trusting relationships with his team. By integrating these habits, Tom didn't just find business success. He found genuine fulfillment and balance. Throughout this journey, we'll weave in stories like Tom's and Sarah's, along with practical exercises to help you make these habits your own. Each habit is a principle to live by, adaptable to your unique life. By the end, you'll understand how to move from dependence to independence and finally to interdependence, the hallmark of true, lasting effectiveness. Before we dive into the first habit, take a moment to consider your own life. Where do you feel reactive? What parts of your life are dominated by urgency rather than true importance? Covey tells us that self-awareness is the foundation. So, as we move forward, I encourage you to keep a journal, reflect on your goals, and prepare to embrace a genuine transformation. Now, take a deep breath. Envision your ideal life, not the one dictated by circumstances, but the one shaped by your choices, your principles, and your character. This is your starting line. In the next part, we will explore habit 1. Be proactive. the essential foundation for everything that follows. Habit 1, be proactive, is the bedrock upon which all the other habits are built. Covey begins with a powerful premise. Our lives are not just a series of things that happen to us. They unfold based on the choices we make. To be proactive is to take full responsibility for your life, your emotions, and your actions. It's the fundamental shift from being a reactor to your circumstances to being the creator of your reality. Let me tell you about Emily. She was a young professional who felt constantly frustrated at work. She blamed her boss for unreasonable demands, her coworkers for being inefficient, and the economy for her stalled career. Emily was reactive. Her stress was high, her productivity was low, and she felt completely trapped. But then she came across Covey's core principle. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our freedom and power to choose our response. This single idea sparked a transformation. Emily started by identifying the areas where she actually had control. She made a simple list. Things she could influence, like her punctuality, her communication, and her own skill development. And she listed things she couldn't control, like office politics or market fluctuations. She consciously shifted her energy into her circle of influence. Instead of complaining, she started suggesting solutions. She managed projects with more foresight. She focused on her personal growth. And as she did, her circle of influence began to expand and her stress began to shrink. Covey is clear. Being proactive isn't about being pushy or controlling. It's about recognizing that while we can't control every circumstance, we can always control our response. Reactive people focus on conditions they can't change, often using language like "I have to" or "if only." Proactive people use language like "I choose to" or "I will." Here are some practical ways to cultivate proactivity. First, become aware of your language. Replace "I have to" with "I choose to." This small shift reinforces your ownership. Second, focus on your circle of influence. Make that list. Dedicate your energy to what you can actually change. Third, try responsibility journaling. Each day, note situations where you reacted automatically and where you made a conscious choice. Fourth, make decisions based on your core values. Emily decided that professionalism and growth were non-negotiable for her, and that guided her actions. And fifth, practice pausing. In a stressful moment, take a breath. In that space, choose your response based on your values, not your impulses. Consider another example, Raj, a student who struggled with his grades. He used to blame his professors and the difficulty of the courses. When he adopted a proactive mindset, he focused on what he could control: his study strategies, his time management, and seeking help when he needed it. His grades improved, and more importantly, he felt empowered. Being proactive even extends to our emotions. We can't always choose what happens to us, but we can choose our attitude. The neurologist and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl is the ultimate example of this. In the face of unimaginable circumstances, he realized that his one fundamental freedom could not be taken away: the freedom to choose his response. Start small. Be on time. Complete a task you've been avoiding. Take initiative. Proactivity is a muscle, and it gets stronger with practice. To summarize, habit 1, recognize the space between what happens and your response. Focus your energy on what you can influence. Use proactive language. Align your actions with your values. Take responsibility for your choices and your emotions. Emily's story came full circle when her team started noticing her solutions-oriented approach. She was no longer just reacting. She was actively shaping her environment. This is the essence of being proactive. Effectiveness doesn't start with your circumstances. It starts with your choices. In the next part, we'll explore habit 2. Begin with the end in mind, where we'll learn how to define a clear vision for our lives. Habit 2. Begin with the end in mind. This is all about vision, purpose, and living your life by design, not by default. Highly effective people know where they're going. They have a clear destination in mind, and they make daily choices that align with that ultimate goal. Let's return to Daniel, the young architect we met earlier. Early in his career, Daniel was busy but unfulfilled. Projects came and went, deadlines were met, but he felt like he was drifting. Then he took time to reflect on the life he truly wanted, a life of impactful designs, creative freedom, and time for his family. This was his end in mind. This personal mission became his compass, guiding his choices from that day forward. Covey teaches that to live intentionally, you need a personal mission statement. This isn't a vague goal like be successful or be rich. It's a clear declaration of your values, your principles, and your long-term purpose. It acts as your internal compass, helping you navigate life's challenges and decisions. So how do you create this? First, identify your key roles in life. Are you a manager, a parent, a friend, a community member? Listing these roles ensures you're building a balanced life. Second, for each role, define your long-term goals. As a professional, Daniel's goal was to lead innovative projects. As a parent, it was to be present and engaged. Third, synthesize this into a written mission statement. Something like, to create inspiring designs that improve communities while nurturing my family and continuously learning. Fourth, visualize your desired outcomes. Spend a few minutes each day imagining yourself living according to your mission. And fifth, align your daily actions with this vision. If a task or opportunity doesn't serve your end goal, have the courage to say no to it. With his mission clear, Daniel began evaluating every project not just for its immediate payoff, but for how it aligned with his vision. He declined work that conflicted with his values and pursued opportunities that fueled his growth. His productivity soared, his stress decreased, and his satisfaction skyrocketed. He was no longer drifting. He was navigating with purpose. Covey also reminds us that leadership is personal before it's public. You can't effectively lead others until you can lead yourself with clarity and vision. Here's a powerful exercise to internalize this habit. Picture your own funeral. What would you want your loved ones, your colleagues, and your friends to say about you? What character did you display? What contributions did you make? This isn't morbid, it's clarifying. It cuts through the noise and reveals what truly matters to you. Another example is Mary, a teacher who felt overwhelmed by her daily routine. She wrote a mission statement centered on creativity, student empowerment, and her own growth. Suddenly, her lesson planning became intentional, her collaboration with colleagues became more meaningful, and her students thrived. By beginning with the end in mind, she transformed her entire experience of her career. Habit 2 teaches us that without a clear destination, any road will take us there. A life of reactive, urgent tasks is easy to fall into, but a life aligned with a deep sense of purpose, that's transformative. It's not enough to be busy. You must be purposeful. In the next part, we'll explore habit 3, put first things first, where we'll learn how to turn that vision into meaningful daily action. Habit 3, put first things first. This is the habit of execution and personal management. This is where the vision from habit 2 meets the reality of your daily schedule. Covey teaches us that effectiveness isn't about doing more things. It's about doing the right things. Let's check in with Alex, a manager who was constantly juggling projects, meetings, and emails. His calendar was packed, yet he felt he was never making progress on what was truly important. He was stuck in a cycle of reacting to emergencies. That all changed when he discovered habit 3. Covey introduces a powerful tool called the time management matrix. It has 4 quadrants. Quadrant 1 is for things that are urgent and important, crises, pressing problems, and deadlines. Quadrant 2 is for things that are not urgent but important, planning, relationship building, personal growth, and preparation. Quadrant 3 is for things that are urgent but not important. Interruptions, some phone calls, most emails. The busy work that feels pressing but doesn't move you forward. Quadrant 4 is for things that are not urgent and not important. Mindless scrolling, trivial activities, and excessive entertainment. Most of us live in quadrants 1 and 3, reacting to urgent demands while neglecting the truly important long-term activities in quadrant 2. But Covey reveals the secret. True effectiveness lives in quadrant 2. Alex decided to reorganize his life around quadrant 2. Each week, he would plan his priorities based on his mission. He blocked out time for strategic planning, for developing his team's skills, and for his own learning. He started delegating the urgent but unimportant tasks. Slowly, his stress went down, his projects ran more smoothly, and he felt back in control. Here, how you can apply habit 3 first. Engage in weekly planning. Each Sunday, look at your roles and goals and schedule your quadrant 2 activities first. Second, each day, identify your 3 to 5 most important tasks, the ones that align with your mission. Do those first. Third, learn to say no gracefully. Protect your time from requests that don't align with your priorities. Fourth, delegate effectively. If someone else can do a task, let them so you can focus on what only you can do. And fifth, create blocks of focused time for deep work, free from distractions like email and social media. Think of Priya, an entrepreneur who spent her days answering emails and putting out fires. She never had time for the big picture. By applying habit 3, she blocked out 2 sacred hours every morning for product development and strategy. Within months, her business grew significantly, and she felt more fulfilled and in command. Habit 3 is about living by design, not by default. If habit 2 is about planting the right seeds for your garden, habit 3 is about consistently watering, weeding, and nurturing them. Without this discipline, even the most beautiful vision remains just a dream. By putting first things first, you gain control, reduce stress, and create meaningful progress. You move from being busy and reactive to being purposeful and effective. This mastery of self sets the stage for the next phase of our journey, moving from independence to interdependence. In the next part, we'll explore habit 4, think win-win. Think win-win marks a crucial transition. We now move from the world of personal effectiveness, the private victory, into the world of interpersonal effectiveness, the public victory. Life is not a solo act. Our success and happiness are deeply tied to our relationships with others. Covey teaches that for these relationships to thrive, we must adopt an abundance mindset. Win-win isn't about compromise. It's about seeking mutual benefit in all our interactions. Let's consider Ravi, a sales manager. He was known for closing deals at any cost, often leaving clients feeling pressured and his team members feeling resentful. Trust was low. He operated with a win-lose mentality. For him to win, someone else had to lose. After learning about habit 4, Ravi decided to try a new approach. He had a client demanding an unrealistic deadline. In the past, he would have just agreed, creating a lose-win for his overworked team. This time, he negotiated. He talked openly with the client about the challenges and proposed a schedule that allowed his team to deliver quality work while still meeting the client's core needs. The client felt heard, the team felt respected, and the project was a success. This was a genuine win-win. Covey explains that a win-win mindset is built on a foundation of character. It requires 3 key traits. First, integrity, sticking to your values and promises. Second, maturity, the balance of courage and consideration. The courage to stand up for your own needs and the consideration to respect the needs of others. And third, an abundance mentality, the deep-seated belief that there is enough success and opportunity to go around. You don't have to take a slice from someone else's pie. You can make the whole pie bigger. Here are some practical ways to cultivate a win-win mindset. In any discussion or negotiation, make a habit of asking, how can we both win here? Build trust through transparency and by keeping your commitments. Balance your courage with consideration. Speak your truth, but do it with empathy. Actively challenge scarcity thinking. Remind yourself that collaboration creates more for everyone. Covey contrasts win-win with other, less effective paradigms. Win-lose, lose-win, lose-lose, or just thinking about your own win without considering others. None of these lead to sustainable, healthy relationships. Let's bring it home with an example. Lisa and Mark, co-founders of a startup, disagreed on a marketing strategy. Instead of one forcing their view on the other, they explored a third alternative, a hybrid approach that combined the best of both ideas. The resulting campaign was more innovative than anything either had proposed alone. That's the power of thinking win-win. Ravi's transformation was profound. His team became more collaborative, client satisfaction soared, and his own job became less stressful. He learned that success isn't just about what you achieve, but how you achieve it and who you bring along with you. Habit 4 teaches us that the most effective path is one where everyone benefits. By mastering this habit, we build the trust necessary for the deep communication and collaboration that follows. And that leads us perfectly into our next habit. Habit 5, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Habit 5 is the key to effective communication, and it might be the most transformative habit for your relationships. It's called seek first to understand, then to be understood. Covey's insight is simple but profound. Most of us don't listen with the intent to understand. We listen with the intent to reply. We're either speaking or we're preparing to speak, filtering everything through our own autobiography. True communication begins when we set our own agenda aside and seek first to see the world through someone else's eyes. Remember Nina, the team leader from earlier. She was frustrated because her team seemed resistant to her ideas. She assumed they were uncooperative. But when she started practicing Habit 5, she stopped talking and started listening. She asked questions. She paraphrased what she heard to ensure she understood. And in doing so, she discovered underlying concerns, misaligned expectations, and even some brilliant ideas she had been missing. By first understanding her team, she built trust. And when she finally spoke, they were now ready to listen to her. This is empathic listening. It's not just hearing words, it's understanding the emotion and meaning behind them. It's feeling what the other person is feeling here. How to practice it: first, listen without judgment. Don't interrupt. Don't mentally prepare your rebuttal, just be fully present. Second, reflect and paraphrase. So, if I'm understanding you correctly, you feel frustrated because. Third, ask gentle, clarifying questions to dig deeper into their feelings and needs. Fourth, and this is the hardest part, suspend your own autobiography. Your experiences, your opinions, set them aside completely for a moment. Only after you have truly understood should you then seek to be understood. And when you do present your own ideas, you can frame them in a way that connects to their perspective, making it much more likely they'll be receptive. Let's go back to Ravi, our sales manager. Faced with a difficult client, he used to argue his point immediately. Now he asks questions. He listens. He makes sure the client feels heard and understood. Only then does he offer his solutions. The dynamic of the conversation completely changes. This habit transforms every kind of relationship. Imagine a parent listening to a teenager without interrupting or judging. Trust flourishes. Communication opens up. To build this skill, try a daily listening practice. Choose one conversation each day where you commit to not interrupting at all, or keep an empathy journal. At the end of the day, reflect on a conversation. Did you truly understand before you tried to be understood? What was the result? Maya, a nurse manager, used this habit to resolve conflicts in her hospital unit. She started understanding sessions where staff could voice concerns without interruption. By listening first, she didn't just solve problems. She built a culture of trust and collaboration that improved patient care. Habit 5 teaches us that if you want to be influential, you must first be influenceable. If you want to be understood, you must first understand. This is the bridge that connects a win-win mindset to truly synergistic collaboration. And that collaboration is the subject of our next powerful habit. Habit 6, synergize. It is the pinnacle of interpersonal effectiveness. It's where the trust built from win-win thinking and the understanding gained from empathic listening come together to create something extraordinary. Synergy is what happens when 1 + 1 = 3, or 10, or 100. It's creative cooperation. It's the magic that happens when a group of people, valuing their differences, collaborate to find solutions that are far better than any one individual could have conceived alone. Imagine a product development team, engineers, designers, and marketers, all with different expertise. At first, their meetings were chaotic. Ideas clashed, egos were bruised, progress was slow. But when they started to value their differences as strengths, something changed. They created a safe space for open dialogue. They respected each other's unique perspectives. And the result was a groundbreaking product that none of them could have created on their own. That is synergy. Covey explains that synergy isn't compromise, where everyone gives a little and no one is fully satisfied. Synergy is about finding the third alternative, a solution that is better than either of the original proposals. So how do we create synergy? First, learn to value differences. Don't just tolerate them, see them as assets. A different perspective isn't a threat, it's a gift. Second, in any conflict or discussion, make it your goal to find that third alternative. Ask, what is a solution that is better than what either of us has proposed? Third, foster open and honest dialogue where everyone feels safe to contribute. Fourth, remember that synergy requires the foundation of trust that we built with habits 4 and 5. And fifth, check your ego at the door. Focus on the best outcome, not on being right. Think about a simple example. 2 roommates arguing over chores. A compromise would be a rigid 50-50 split. A synergistic solution would be to discuss their preferences and strengths. Maybe one doesn't mind washing dishes but hates vacuuming, and the other feels the opposite. They can create a system that feels less like work and more like a partnership. The result is a happier home. Covey uses the metaphor of a jazz band. Each musician is a master of their instrument. They listen intently to each other, they play off each other's ideas, and together they create a piece of music that is spontaneous, beautiful, and impossible to plan in detail. That's synergy in action. When that tech team learned to synergize, they didn't just build a product, they built a culture of innovation. Each person's strengths were amplified, their weaknesses were covered, and they achieved results they previously thought were impossible. Habit 6 shows us that the whole is truly greater than the sum of its parts. It is the ultimate expression of interdependence, and to sustain this high level of effectiveness, we need one final habit, a habit of renewal. That is habit 7, sharpen the saw. Sharpening the saw is all about renewal and continuous improvement. It's the habit that makes all the others sustainable. Covey uses the metaphor of a woodcutter who is sawing down a tree for days on end, becoming less and less productive. When someone suggests he stop to sharpen his saw, he replies, "I don't have time. I'm too busy sawing." The point is clear. If you don't take time to renew yourself, you become dull and ineffective. This habit is about maintaining and increasing your greatest asset, you. Covey breaks renewal into 4 key dimensions. The first is the physical dimension. This is about caring for your body through exercise, nutrition, rest, and stress management. Remember Emily. She started with just 30 minutes of daily exercise and better sleep. Her energy, mood, and productivity all improved dramatically. The second is the mental dimension. This is about lifelong learning, reading, writing, and learning new skills. Ravi, the sales manager, began reading regularly, which sharpened his mind and improved his decision-making. The third is the social-emotional dimension. This focuses on building meaningful relationships, practicing empathy, and contributing to your community. Maya, the nurse, strengthened all her relationships by practicing active listening and kindness. The fourth is the spiritual dimension. This is about connecting to your core values and your sense of purpose through meditation, reflection, nature, or faith. Nina, the team leader, spent time each day in reflection, which gave her resilience and clarity. The key to Habit 7 is balance and consistency across all 4 areas here. How to practice it: schedule renewal time. Treat it as a non-negotiable appointment with yourself. Conduct a weekly check-in. Ask yourself, which of my 4 dimensions needs more attention this week? Integrate small, consistent practices. A 10-minute walk, 5 minutes of journaling, listening to a podcast on your commute, or a meaningful conversation with a friend. Small investments pay massive dividends. Think about Raj, the student. He was studying constantly and burning out. When he started sharpening his saw with short breaks for walks and social connection, his focus and retention improved, and his performance actually got better. Sharpening the saw is not selfish. It's essential. You can't help others, pursue big goals, or be effective in your relationships if you are running on empty. This habit ensures you are constantly renewing the resources you need to live all the other habits. It's about living life as a marathon, not a sprint. It's the rhythm of growth and rest that leads to a long, balanced, and fulfilling life of effectiveness. As we bring our journey to a close, let's take a step back and see how these 7 habits fit together into a single, powerful framework for living. Habits 1, 2, and 3. Be proactive. Begin with the end in mind and put first things first. Deliver the private victory. They are about moving from dependence to independence. They are the habits of self-mastery, teaching you to take responsibility, define your vision, and manage your life effectively. Habits 4, 5, and 6. Think win-win. Seek first to understand, then to be understood, and synergize. Deliver the public victory. They are about moving from independence to interdependence. These are the habits of teamwork, collaboration, and leadership, enabling you to build deep, trusting, and creative relationships. And surrounding and sustaining it all is Habit 7, sharpen the saw. It's the habit of renewal that keeps the entire system energized, balanced, and growing. This isn't a collection of random tips. It's a sequential, integrated system. Your proactivity makes your vision possible. Your vision makes your priorities clear. Your personal mastery allows you to build authentic relationships. Those relationships allow for true synergy. And continuous renewal makes it all sustainable. Imagine Sophia, the executive who felt overwhelmed and unfulfilled. By adopting these habits, she took control of her responses, defined her purpose, and aligned her daily actions with it. She built win-win relationships, listened with empathy, and fostered powerful synergy in her team. And she committed to sharpening her saw physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. The result was a life not just of higher productivity, but of profound balance and fulfillment. The power of this framework is that it's based on timeless principles: fairness, integrity, honesty, and human dignity. When you center your life on principles, you find a stability and guidance that no fleeting tactic can ever provide. As you move forward, start small. Pick one habit. Practice it deliberately. Maybe it's pausing to be more proactive. Maybe it's writing a first draft of your mission statement. Maybe it's committing to listen without interrupting in your next conversation. This is a journey, not a destination. With each conscious choice, each empathetic conversation, and each act of self-renewal, you are not just becoming more effective. You are shaping your character, your destiny, and the legacy you will leave behind. So take a deep breath, reflect on your mission, embrace your power to choose. Your journey toward a life of effectiveness, balance, and meaningful impact